Welcome to the Locker Room Chat. We're live from the Pizza Inn in Oak Ridge. Folks, it's not raining outside. Come on down. If you look over my shoulder right here, I can try to get out of the way just a minute. You can see all the pizza behind me. They got a great salad bar here. Got some nice ladies that'll wait on you, and they'll take care of you. So come on down to the Pizza Inn. We're just right off the turnpike in Oak Ridge. And like I said, there's no rain right now outside here anyway. So get on there, get a good seat for not only this show, but for Coach Gaddis' show that'll follow us at 8 o'clock. The Hall of Fame coach, Joe Gaddis, will be in. We're going to have a special guest on tonight with us. Well, as you can see, my co-partner, Ron Berry, is not here. So Brad asked me where he was at. There you go. There's a shot right there. Brad asked me where he was at. I guess he's still in Georgia. I don't really know. He's supposed to show up Friday night in Rockwood and do a ball game with me, so we'll see if he makes it. But I guess he's caught the Georgia fever, and he's staying down because Tennessee rolls down there this week to play the Bulldogs, and I'm sure he's down there. And he won't be rooting for Tennessee. He'll be rooting for Georgia. But another week of high school football in the books. Exciting week. We were at Rockwood last week for Rockwood and Harriman. We had a really good game, 13-7 contest. Hard-fought game for both teams, and Rockwood rebounds from pretty much a thumping at Meggs, and Harriman they just couldn't get it all together. And one of their best players is out; he's out for the year. So that's it. Always happens to Coach Tapp. He loses kids, and when you see him the first game to get them in the middle of the season, it'll be sort of a different team. It always is with the smaller classifications, but I think the surprise team in our viewing area right now has got to be Midway. Midway is undefeated at this time of the season. They've got a pretty tough stretch coming down. And they made in the top 10. I didn't see that today when I looked at it. So they're in the top 10, tied with Cofield. Is 5-0 right? I thought they were 6-0. They're 5-0. I thought they were 6-0 for some reason with 4 games left. Maybe they've got 5 left. But anyway, they got a tough schedule. I know they still got Cofield. They've still got Greenback. They've still got Oliver Springs. And I don't really know who else. I know those 3 teams. And I think they might even still have Harriman. They do. And that's right, we do have them. So it's still, they've got a pretty tough schedule coming down the pipe. But as you can see, Greenback still survives and stays on top in Class 1A. No Oliver Springs. I'm so surprised Oliver Springs. They're in 2, right? They're number 11, just right outside the top 10 at number 11. Well, we got some area teams, like I said, with Midway and Cofield. I'll say Greenbacks in our area, but we really don't. We have those because they play some of our teams in our area, but we'll consider them right here with us. But that's probably not going to change much. That'll be up and down, but still, my surprise team right now is Midway. I didn't pick them to be where they're at right now. I picked them to have a good year along with Oliver Springs, but a good year so far for Midway. We'll see what they do coming down the stretch, and I think their first big test is going to be Friday night, and that'll be Cofield. Cofield Road. I don't know where's that game at, Brad? Cofield? It's at Cofield. As y'all know, you've heard me talk, it's a tough place to go play. The fans are right on top of you there, and it's really good. It's really a good environment. I love being down there when we get a chance to go there, whether it's a TV game or just going to a playoff game down there. I love going down there. If you look at the schedule Brad's got on the board, Knox West is at Clinton. That's not good for Clinton. Midway and Cofield. I don't know about the Bearden DB game. I don't know. DB's not that good this year. I would think Bearden continues on. Anderson County at East Ridge. AC again. Oliver Springs at Harriman. Man, that's probably another big ball game right there. I mean, that's another huge ball game in the area. You've got a lot of places to go Friday night that you could see a good game. And then Oak Ridge at Carnes should be a cakewalk for the Ridgers. Carnes is not that good. And Knoxville Fulton at Carter, a team that's they're just down this year. Let's see who else is here that sticks out. William Blunt doesn't stand a chance at Maryville. That's not too hard to pick. Campbell County at Powell. That's a Thursday night football game. That's a TV game. I think interesting there will be to see if Campbell County's quarterback is back. I'm told no, but I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't play. So the people in Campbell County tonight that's watching us on the channel up there, you probably know more than I know about it, but I hear today he is not playing. So I don't know if that's true or not. I do understand I got a receiver back at Campbell County. Got him back this week, so that'll help too. That's been a team that's been sort of hurt with injuries. And then I see night at Rockwood. That's our game of the week on Channel 12 on BB12. We'll pregame it at 7 and kick off at 7:30 as Brad's got it there. Be the first time I got to see Coach Lambert in a little while, so we get to talk to him Friday night just a little bit. It's always enjoy talking to Coach Webb at Rockwood. He does a fine job there, and so that we'll be back there again this week. And that's always, in the past when we've done that game, it's always been a really good football game. So I look forward to being there Friday night. But get out and support your high school football team. Take care of the bands, the cheerleaders, and go to the concession stand. That usually where the booster clubs are at for all those people, and get out and support those programs. They need it. Like I said, we're live at the Pizza Inn in Oak Ridge tonight. Says from what I can see right now, there's no rain outside, so there's no reason the people are not here. So come on down. This place was rolling last Wednesday night when I left here because we had Jefferson Middle School and Robertsville Middle School in here getting ready before the city championship. That city championship was won by Jefferson Middle. I got to go watch that game last Thursday night, and I enjoyed it. Happened to know a player or two out there on the Jefferson team, so it was nice to go see somebody play that you knew. So you can come on down and join us here at the Pizza Inn, and we'll rock on. But when we come back, Will Warren's going to be with us, and I've got some questions. We'll see how he's doing. You know, I think he went 23-3 last week. Is that what it was? Is that what it was? I went 24-2. I didn't have a computer. No, I'm only kidding. I wish I could go 24. Brad can tell you how bad I am at picking because I pick every week, and I think I'm near the bottom. I'm down there with Wimp Shootman. But I'm not crying, though, because I'm having to pick Clinton every week. I'm not crying about it like Wimp is. So, anyway, we'll be back here in just a minute. We're live from the Pizza Inn, Oak Ridge, and when I come back, we're going to have Will up here, and maybe he could straighten me out. I doubt it, but we're going to talk to him and see what he's got to say. We'll be right back just in a few minutes here at the Pizza Inn, Oak Ridge.
For 30 years, Reno Sporting Goods has been a leader in supplying the highest quality equipment and apparel for sports teams throughout East Tennessee. Athletes, fans, and coaches alike rely on the knowledge and experience that only Reno's can provide. For the best in team sports, shop Reno Sporting Goods.
Live and Let Live Drugstore in downtown Rockwood is your gift destination. Shop the new plush selection for that special someone. We have Bath & Body Works popular fragrances and custom gift baskets too. Live and Let Live has a wide selection of gift and home decor for any occasion, from yard flags to selected jewelry plus much more. We have Big Orange giftware always available year-round. And don't forget to enjoy a soda fountain treat while you shop. Live and Let Live Drugstore, Gift Shop, and Soda Fountain in downtown Rockwood.
Roan Metals Group has been serving East Tennessee for decades. Locally owned and operated with convenient hours of operation. Roan Metals buys all types of scrap metal. Nothing's too big or too small. Still have that clunker sitting around? We've been buying them for years. Roan Metals Group are specialists in industrial scrap. We have what it takes to get any size job done. Roan Metals urges you to recycle responsibly. Scrap with only licensed dealers. A member of the TSRA and the ISRI. Roan Metals Group. Turn that scrap into cash.
With so many places available to shop for a new car, people are often left wondering how to choose. Why not come to the place that's been providing excellent customer satisfaction for over 45 years, Earl Duff Subaru in Harriman. We are the only dealership in Tennessee to have won the Subaru Love Promise Award for 7 years in a row. Read our online reviews and you'll see that Earl Duff Subaru is the right choice for all your automotive needs.
Available in 7 or 8 passenger models. The all-new 2019 Ascent is available now at Earl Duff Subaru in Harriman.
Make this spring all about enjoying the experience. When you ride on your new Ferris commercial mower featuring patented suspension technology, you'll have more than freshly manicured grass. You'll experience productivity and comfort like never before. And because you won't be slowing down for those rough spots, you'll mow more lawn in less time. Ferris, experience suspension.
S.L. Bowman & Sons, 524 North Front Street in Rockwood. All right, crew, let's get started. All right.
Don't ignore the law. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 days before any digging project so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811.
Mulch & More in Midtown is your landscaping headquarters. Mulch & More offers mulch, the best topsoil in the area. All types of gravel, sand, pea gravel, either loose or in bags, creek rock, river rock, field stone, mountain mist stone, railroad cross ties, straw bales, fence posts, farm gates, and much more. Mulch & More offers backhoe and dump truck service. And Mulch & More can also demolish a house or building on your property, and they'll haul it off for you. Give Gary a call today at 865-740-5229 for Mulch & More in Midtown.
Evans Mortuary has been serving the needs of families in and around Roane County since 1976. As established members of our hometown community, we understand the security of dealing with people you know you can trust. We built our reputation on this trust. The Evans family appreciates the confidence the community has expressed in us over the years and will constantly strive to earn that favor. Evans Mortuary, 805 North Gateway.
Welcome back to the Locker Room Chat. Glad to have with me at this time Will Warren, and we're gonna get Will to tell us a little bit about what he does, and we're talking a little high school football with him, and we'll see if he's prognosed out long enough about Tennessee football, what his prognosis is for that. Also, he told me basketball does look a little bit better than football, so it's not even started, and I agree with that, and it should anyway. Will, glad to have you on the show tonight. Tell me a little bit about what you're doing. Let's talk about the high school side first before we do college or anything, but because we're mainly high school around. But tell me a little bit about what you're doing. I mean, what you're doing, and what's your purpose of? What's the end result supposed to be for you for doing it?
Okay, so I do statistical projections of local high school football games. I use 3 different ratings as sources. Cal Preps, also known as Max Preps, Sonny Moore Power Ratings, which is a statewide staple for as long as I've been alive, and Massey Ratings, who the guy who runs that actually is a Carson Newman professor. But the goal of this in the end is just to provide a different analysis than what you'll see in the newspapers or from columnists, because unfortunately a lot of those newspapers or magazines will only cover about the same 6 or 7 teams. I want it to be something that covers a lot more, because in these projections I cover 51 different area teams across 14 counties. Wow.
So, well, you talking about newspaper coverage. As far as the Knoxville News Sentinel goes, we get very little high school coverage. I mean, it's not like it used to be, and I guess, I don't understand why, but for a game on Friday night, you don't find out about it till Sunday. So I think I don't understand it. I understand deadlines and everything, but if you're looking at teams, are you projecting far enough out that you can say X is going to win this, or you project? All right, I'm going to ask you a question: Is Clinton going to win another game this year?
They're not projected to win one outright, but I would say through the remaining 5 games, they should be able to pick up a win somewhere. I think the best chance is Carnes, that season ender. I have them at about a 38% chance of winning that game, which is not bad.
Okay. What's if 38 to me sounds low, what's really is, because it's below 50%, I guess is what I'm looking at. When you say 38% is not bad, wouldn't 50 be better though? I mean, it would be a little bit more 50-50 would be better, so 38%'s not, it's so.
Yeah.
All right, here's a big question. There's a lot of people, we might need to get you an armed guard after I ask this question. Is Anderson County going to win a state championship?
I don't think they will. Greenville's just a really, really good football team. That defense is incredible. The offense is even better. And they came close last year, but the worry for me with Anderson County when I look at their numbers is you look at how their defense was throughout the season last year, and it was pretty good. It gave up, I think, 11 points per game. They've already given up the same amount of points through 6 games as they did the entire regular season last year. And that's a worry when it comes down to not just Greenville and potentially in the quarterfinals, but what about Elizabethton in the round of 16?
Okay, let's talk about Elizabethton then. What's Elizabethton? What are they doing? What are they doing that's a little bit better than? Are they showing something that's better than last year?
Yeah, they're playing at they're playing at a level above anything we saw from them last year. They will play Greenville near the end of the season, and that actually was not projected to be a terribly tough game for Greenville at the beginning of the season. I remember it being about like a 28 or 29 point projection. That's down to 2 touchdowns now.
Down to 2 touchdowns now.
And for that amount of for that gap to be made up in half the season is pretty remarkable.
Okay, is Greenville still producing and playing same offensively and defensively? Are they still on par from last year? Have they slacked anywhere that you see?
No, I think it's just as good as last year's team, if not better. There's a real argument to say that Greenville might be the best team in the state.
I've heard that. I've heard a lot of people say that Greenville's the best team in the state. I've not got to watch. I've not seen them play, so I don't. Tell me what when you're giving me all these stats, what are you really? I mean, what are you looking? I'm sure you're looking at points on the offensive side, points on the defensive side, what they're giving up rushing, what they're doing. What are you really looking at?
Now, with individual team rushing and passing numbers, it's a little tougher because throughout this region, not many teams fully report their stats. Jesse Smithy with 5-Star Preps is doing a good job of getting more teams to report to him, which it's honestly doing a better job than Max Preps is, which was previously the best resource.
So 5-Star Preps is doing better than Max.
Yeah, I think Jesse has done a great job with his site so far, and I really look forward to hopefully he's hoping to get more teams as the season goes on, from what I've heard. I think he's up to about 43 or 44 that report.
How do you and you feed off those 3 people, those 3 organizations that you talked about coming into the program, so you're relying on those to get. That's where you get your stats. You're not really hooked up with a coach somewhere. Do you ever talk to coaches and get anything as you're going on?
That's part of the goal of this. Is I want to get more involved in helping coaches out, showing them, ways to create better offense, create better defense. You see a lot in the college game because there's simply better college stats available. With high school, it's heavily reliant on watching game tape over and over and over, except when you get well-reported stats.
Well, I'm sure Brad's itching for me to ask you this question, and I'm going to ask it then, because I know what he's wanting me to ask you. I can just feel him asking me that. Coalfield going to win the state? Or is it Greenback?
I think Greenback's going to win the state. Greenback
you broke Brad's heart and mine too, brother.
But Coalfield's good. Coalfield is, they're in a good position in 1A too. They started out 3-0, which gives them a good gap in that what's going to be a hot race for the 2nd through 4th playoff spots, because we all know Greenback's probably going to win that region. But
who's your top in that region? Who's your top 4? Who are you projecting to be the top 4 teams
in 1A2?
In 1A2,
Greenback obviously first. It's hard to feel them losing a game before the playoffs.
Right.
I really like Coalfield to finish 2nd just because of that 3-0 start. They've given themselves such a cushion that it's hard to blow that. I would agree with you that Midway is the single most surprising team in all of East Tennessee this year. I had them. I think a lot of people probably had them at 5 wins or so before the season, because they've done about 5 wins for the last 4 or so years. They're already at 5-0. You can't. It's hard to see them not at least getting to about 7-3, 3-3 in region. And at that point, how can you leave them out? How do they miss? Oliver Springs, I think, could make it. Of course, Harriman could. I don't feel so great about Oakdale and Sunbright. But if I had to pick the top 4, Greenback, Coalfield, Oliver Springs, Midway.
That's about how I've been. That's and Harriman out. That's about. I've sort of felt that for a while, because I think if I was, and this is not a team that's not surprised me, because I've been saying this since really. I said it in May, and then we came back after July and had a show, and I've been preaching Oliver Springs. Oliver Springs has been getting better just over the last 3 years with their new coach. Had a new coach come in. It took him a while, and he's done a really good job. So that's a program that's really just chopped on up and got a whole lot better, and they're a whole lot better than they have been. They're really being competitive. So I like Oliver. I like Harriman too. I really hate to see anybody get knocked out, but it's going to a good football team's going to be left sitting at home there.
Yeah, that's the thing. Midway can miss the. Yeah,
and when you look at that region right there, and that's just. All 4 of those teams are going to the playoffs.
Right.
And it's unfortunate that somebody's probably going to go and maybe be 1-9 or 2-8. Well, there could be 2 teams go at 1-9 maybe. or
Yeah.
probably. So that's just not fair right there. I mean, I don't agree with that. We've never agreed with it here at Channel 12 when we looked at it. So it's just, I mean, I understand why Jelco drives and plays all those teams because it's a guaranteed playoff spot. So
Yeah.
But anyway, beside the point. I got a buddy. We do a talk show on Friday night. It's the 5-Star Prep Friday Night Scoreboard show we do here in Oak Ridge at back at the studio. My buddy's Jonathan Cox has something a little bit to do with 5-Star Prep, and Jesse calls in every Friday night. He tells me, and once again, you got to remember, I'm seeing what we're doing only. I've not got to see Oak Ridge play. I've not got to see Fulton play. I've not seen any of those teams play. But he comes in and he tells us on Friday night, and he says this every Friday night, that Oak Ridge is the best 5A team he's seen play this year.
I mean, I think Oak Ridge is really good. You look at that end of the season game between them and Fulton. I mean, not only is that going to decide the 5A3 title, that also decides who gets to avoid Catholic until the quarterfinals, which is that's a big advantage.
Yeah, but don't you think Catholic, and I know I'm jumping around a little bit on you, but don't you think Catholic's down a little bit this year? I mean, their record indicates that to me anyway, and they've lost. I mean, I believe they got beat last weekend maybe. So don't you think is Catholic still the threat that they've been in the last couple of years? Are they still that threat?
I don't think they're an elite state team like they have been the last few years. They're probably more statewide, about top 25-ish. But as opposed to being top 10 the last few years. But you can't count them out in the state playoffs. You just, I mean, they've won championships with 3 and 4 losses, right?
Correct.
It's they go out, they play a tough schedule. They're ready when it comes to state time. You want to avoid them if you can.
Oh, I don't disagree with that. Yeah, I would want to be away from them the same way I'd want to be in Anderson County. I wouldn't want to have to play Greenville or Elizabeth until I had to play them.
Yeah.
And I think everybody, when I'll go back to the AC, Greenville, and here we'll just talk about this right here. You got Oak Ridge, Fulton, Powell, West, and Campbell County. The only team that I think has a chance maybe to get in that top 4, and I think this is the year Campbell County's out, in my opinion, but they're the only team that's on the outside looking in right now that might have that possibility of jumping into 4 there. And you can say, well, who are they going to beat? Well, I don't know. I don't know who I really don't know who they've got left, but it could be Powell or West, either one, because Fulton's already played them. Oak Ridge has already played them. They've lost those, so we'll take those 2 teams out. So, they've played Clinton too. And they beat Clinton. So I think it's Oak Ridge, Fulton, and West and Powell. That's who will be there. I don't know that they'll be in that order right there, but. If you listen to Jonathan Cox, he still thinks Oak Ridge is the best 5A team. He thinks they ought to be ranked number 1 right now. So I don't know much about Henry County. It's a little bit out of our area here, but it's always a pretty good football team, and I don't know much about them.
Yeah, I think on a 5A3, you look at Campbell County. I expected a little more preseason. The projections had them at 6 and 4, but I mean the season's still there for them. There's a lot left on the plate. There's time to recover. You beat Carnes and Clinton, that's 2 wins. All you got to do to make the state playoffs is beat one of Powell and West. I know that sounds like a tall task, but if all you had to do is beat one and not both, that's not so scary.
No, they've sort of got their own destination. I mean, they still have their own control. They've still got some teams to play, so they still got control of where they're headed. Is there any way that somebody can follow? I mean, let's talk about how can somebody follow you? Do you have a website that somebody can? Do you put this stuff out every week, or tell me how you do it?
I do. I put this stuff out every week. You can see it on the screen in front of me. Very fun to see my name on a TV. So you can go to gyrateplus.wordpress.com, and that's where you'll find all the high school stuff I do. You can have season-long projections for each team that I cover, all 51. They've got their own schedule out there that I automatically load every week. Running region expectations, where you can see how your team is stacking up week to week and where they're projected to finish in the region. You can find me on Twitter at GyrateStats, no underscores. And then also for Fox Sports Knoxville in Knoxville, I do work on UT football and basketball from a statistical lens, but also from a film review lens as well.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. I tell you what, let's jump out and take a quick break. And this is interesting stuff. I need to get this guy's phone number because I'm going to start picking real well, Brad. I'm going to make a comeback here. You're right. I need to have somebody help me. But we'll take a break. We're live from the Pizza Inn, Oak Ridge. Come on down and join us. This is interesting. Nobody's really ever broke down. They break down college and they break down the pros a lot, but nobody's ever really broke down the high school stuff like you just broke it down. So I really think that's interesting. I think we have a lot of teams that deserve. They need this in-depth look, and it's not bad, I don't think, at all for high school sports. Matter of fact, I think it's pretty interesting. We'll be right back just a minute on Locker Room Chat. We're live from the Pizza Inn, Oak Ridge.
For 30 years, Reno Sporting Goods has been a leader in supplying the highest quality equipment and apparel for sports teams throughout East Tennessee. Athletes, fans, and coaches alike rely on the knowledge and experience that only Reno's can provide. For the best in team sports, shop Reno Sporting Goods.
Live and Let Live Drugstore in downtown Rockwood is the premier pharmacy service location. Let our professional staff help with all your pharmacy needs, answer your questions, or help with your medication management with our Medicine on Time packaging system. We also offer medication therapy management to ensure you're receiving maximum benefits from your medication. Diabetes care is available with one-on-one consultations, or you can attend one of our monthly diabetes information classes. Live and Let Live Drugstore in downtown Rockwood.
With so many places available to shop for a new car, people are often left wondering how to choose. Why not come to the place that's been providing excellent customer satisfaction for over 45 years, Earl Duff Subaru in Harriman? We're the only dealership in Tennessee to have won the Subaru Love Promise Award for 7 years in a row. Read our online reviews and you'll see that Earl Duff Subaru is the right choice for all your automotive needs.
Available in 7 or 8 passenger models. The all-new 2019 Ascent is available now at Earl Duff Subaru in Harriman.
We treat you like family at RMG. Bring your junk, cars, aluminum cans. We buy it on the spot and we pay you a lot. We treat you like family at RMG. Yeah, we treat you like family at RMG. We treat you like family.
Rome Metals is located just off of Highway 27 between Harriman and Rockwood.
All right, crew, let's get started. All right.
Don't ignore the law. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 days before any digging project so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811.
I am a Simplicity dealer. This business is my life, my career. If you need a new mower, I'll help you choose the model that will make your property look its very best and even let you take a test drive. When it does need service, you can rely on my factory service training and genuine parts. Because I don't just sell products, I build relationships. I am a Simplicity dealer.
SL Bowman & Sons, 524 North Front Street in Rockwood.
Mulch & More in Midtown is your landscaping headquarters. Mulch & More offers mulch, the best topsoil in the area. All types of gravel, sand, pea gravel, either loose or in bags, creek rock, river rock, field stone, mountain mist stone, railroad cross ties, straw bales, fence posts, farm gates, and much more. Mulch & More offers backhoe and dump truck service. And Mulch & More can also demolish a house or building on your property, and they'll haul it off for you. Give Gary a call today at 865-740-5229 for Mulch & More in Midtown.
Evans Mortuary has been serving the needs of families in and around Roane County since 1976. As established members of our hometown community, we understand the security of dealing with people you know you can trust. We build our reputation on this trust. The Evans family appreciates the confidence the community has expressed in us over the years and will constantly strive to earn that favor. Evans Mortuary, 805 North Gateway.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Locker Room Chat. We're live in Oak Ridge at the Pizza Inn. Come on down and join me and my best friend, Will, here. He does a little picking, and he's got a pretty good record at it, and he's went through some of the things. And, Will, you're covering – how many area teams you say you got? 51?
Yeah, the projections cover 51 teams in 14 counties. It's the 13 counties in what's defined as the Knoxville metropolitan area plus Greenville, just because they're regionally important.
Right. Well, they are regionally important to Anderson County, folks, because they've got that marked in the third round as a playoff game at AC, and I don't know if that'll take place or not, but I think when Anderson County walked off the field last year, they circled it on the calendar. It'll be at AC and not at Greenville this time, so I don't know if that gives them any advantage or not. You don't think so, so I don't know, but we'll see. Let's talk about the Vols a little bit. Will they win another game this year?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're going to beat Charlotte. That's not going to be too difficult. Charlotte's not good, but I don't know if they'll be favored in another SEC game this year, but it's hard to see them losing out in SEC play. I think at least one more SEC win, probably two. And honestly, the bare minimum of acceptability always at Tennessee, regardless of rebuilding program, no matter what stage they're in, the bare minimum has to be 5-7. And I know there's a lot of butts to shake out, so to say, but you got to get to 5 wins, I think, at least.
Okay, let's talk about that. So we've got Georgia, and I'm not going to be in any order here. You got Georgia, Alabama, you got Auburn, you got South Carolina coming up. I don't see any of those games winnable.
I think they're winnable.
wait a minute. You think Alabama's winnable?
No, not Alabama. I'm thinking one of South Carolina, maybe Auburn. Because the thing about college football, and we talk about this with, you always hear it in pro, and you heard it when people overreacted to, say, the Bills beating the Vikings this weekend. Of course, the pro football is volatile, but college football is way more volatile than pro. I mean, Virginia Tech lost as a 4-touchdown favorite to Old Dominion last weekend by 2 scores. It's a sport where anything can happen. And Tennessee, bad play or not, and it was very bad play last Saturday, something can happen. Maybe South Carolina turns it over a lot. Maybe Auburn, and Auburn always seems to be due for a dud at any given time. Well, I don't consider Alabama or Georgia winnable. Let's say that.
Okay, you told me something earlier on when we started. You told me about, we talked about Anderson County, and you told me about points. Is Tennessee doing anything better than they done last year? Is anything really offensively sticking out, or is defensive? I think everybody seems to think the defense is a little bit better. Is that trending in that upward direction?
Yeah, I think it is. You look at, especially, obviously Tennessee gave up a couple bad big plays on Saturday night. Young teams do. That's how it goes. I think, based on the stats, you see success rate, which is defined as, basically the amount of plays that you held the offense to less than expected yardage on. Tennessee's success rate is better defensively this year. It's just they're a more cohesive unit. You see fewer missed tackles. I know you see some guys who are just out physicaled, but that's just that's how it is when you have a team that basically didn't have a strength and conditioning program for 3 years.
I understand you. We talk. And I know we're in football, and I want to venture over to basketball because I'm excited about basketball. And
It's a little happier to talk about.
It's a little happier to talk about. It's a little easier to talk about, too. I heard coming down today, Grant Williams made second team All-American, and he was the only one out of the SEC to make the top first or second team. He's the only one. What do you what's the projections looking like for Tennessee basketball this year? Pretty good?
Pretty good. I mean, I struggle to get to the top 5 marker that a lot of the preseason magazines are putting out. I'd love to see it. It's just Tennessee has to take a giant leap forward offensively to get there. You look at, from their Ken Pomeroy, KenPom.com, that's the leading site for college basketball analytics and perhaps the best read you'll find on college basketball just to get lost in it. Tennessee was barely a top 40 offense last year. To get in the top 5 by the end of the year, they'd have to sustain the same level of defensive play, which is hard to do year over year, and have a top 15 offense. That's a large jump. But I think it's fair to expect a top 10 team.
Aren't they projected they're projected in the top 10, right?
Oh, yeah. They will be, at the very least, an AP top 10 team.
So that's good news on the front for the Vols. The football, man, I just don't see 6. I've said 6-6, but I just don't know if Kentucky's, I think, is a team that's a whole lot better than I think everybody thought they were going to be.
Yeah, their defense is just a lot better. It's the best Kentucky defense, at least in my lifetime so far. Now, we'll see if it holds up. They haven't had any major injuries. I know they beat Mississippi State, and that's good and all, but they haven't really gone out and beaten like a supremely talented team yet. Mississippi State is pretty good. They'll probably end up like 8-4 or so, like they always seem to do now. Florida, I honestly don't really know about Florida at this point because we've seen them at their very worst and their very best. So the truth probably lies somewhere between there. But with Kentucky, it's like the downturn is coming. It's hard to spot when, though.
Just spot win. Well, I know earlier on before kickoff in the SEC, everybody thought Mississippi State would be the team that would challenge Alabama. Do you put any belief in that? I never really did buy into that. I just didn't think Mississippi State – I thought the challenge would be maybe from LSU or Auburn or Georgia in the SEC championship. I don't see Mississippi State sure that anything can happen in a football game, as you said, but I don't see Mississippi State being the team that dethrones Alabama.
No, you got to look. One thing that reigns supreme in college football is talent, especially recruiting talent. It's kind of hard to say that with Tennessee right now, considering Butch Jones still has, I guess, 2 top 5 classes on the campus technically, with attrition, not top 5. But Alabama has lost once to a non-top 15 recruiting team in the last 10 years. Mississippi State, of course, does not recruit in the top 15. I would agree that if it's going to be anybody, it's going to be LSU or Auburn. But it's probably those two. I had forgotten they'd played A&M already.
Let me ask this question and you've talked a little bit about recruiting. Do you look at the 2 stars, the 3 stars, the 4 stars, the 5 stars? How much stock do you put into that? Do you think it's fair to tag a kid as a 5-star when actually maybe where he's played football is really not? I mean, just the competition. You can really stand out. Depends on where you're playing. I mean, I don't put a lot of faith in this. I think it's good to talk about. Do you put a lot of faith in that?
I do for the teams with the good coaching. 5 stars mean a lot when they're being coached by good coaches. I mean, you look at the best teams in college football. All of those have just endless 4 and 5 stars on the roster. Georgia is basically 90% 4 and 5 stars now. Alabama the same. Clemson is going to get there soon. There's this thing called the blue chip ratio coined by SB Nation's Bud Elliott, and so it goes is since 2000. You have to have at least 50% of your roster to be 4 and 5 stars to have won the national title. It's held true 17 straight seasons, and I don't see it changing this year.
Wow. So if you were predicting right now who would be in the SEC championship, is it like most people think it's going to be Alabama and Georgia?
Yeah, I can't imagine it. It's hard for me to imagine an East game where Georgia's within 2 scores of anybody, to be honest. They're just that far ahead of everyone. And now the struggle with Alabama is, Alabama seemingly always loses one in the regular season, just whether it's youth or the team just steps up and pulls one out of luck. But with the offense they have now, who do you think can beat them?
Who do I think can beat them? I don't know.
No.
I don't. I look at teams across the country that I think might beat them.
Yeah.
I don't know if Ohio State can. I don't think Ohio State's that good. That's just me. I think they're overrated. You look at the next team that you would think maybe would be Clemson could compete with either one of our SEC teams, being Georgia or Alabama, but I don't know that's the case. So I think you're looking at, if it's Georgia and Alabama, is it Ohio State and Clemson? Is that all it is, or is there another dark horse team out there that's sort of on the horizon of jumping into that top 4? I mean, that's the thing. Or do we have somebody that's going to jump in the top 4?
Watch Penn State this weekend because they get Ohio State at home. A lot of people have kind of tuned out Penn State. A lot of people have kind of tuned out Penn State after the opener when they had to go to OT with Appalachian State. People forget App State is an unbelievably well-coached team. That games like that are their Super Bowl. That's why no one should schedule App State. If you're a college football program listening to this, stop scheduling App State. Don't do it. But I mean, look at Penn State. They lost Saquon Barkley, which is a big loss, of course. You don't ever want to lose a Heisman contender. You still got your Heisman contending quarterback, a great defense, a lot of options at wide receiver, a running back who's actually doing better than Barkley through 4 games. So I don't know. Keep an eye on that game. I still think Ohio State wins, but if Penn State wins, that really pushes their case for the top four.
This is a non-football or basketball question. Let's see if you know anything about it. Does the Braves win the National League championship?
Huh? I would like to say yes.
You'd like to say yes?
I would like to. I can't. It's hard. I really, honestly, if they can get in there, the Dodgers are really well equipped to make a deep run.
So you think the Dodgers beats the Braves out, and the Braves are out in the first round of the playoffs, right? That's what I'm saying anyway. Hey, now wait a minute. Now, Coach Gaddis is in here. I want you to. This is not David saying this. I didn't say this. We've got it on tape, Coach. What did you tell me Oak Ridge should win by this? What did you say what it was?
The projection is Oak Ridge 45, Carnes 3.
Oak Ridge 45, Carnes 3. Did you hear that? That was not me. You can point that up here all you want, but I didn't say that. 45-3. The Ridgers and the Braves go out against the Dodgers. He wants to muzzle me up. He don't like for me. Hey, I'm getting a lot. By the way, I'm getting a lot of emphasis going on me buying the bus. They're going to start a GoFundMe page, and we're going to have that bus before the playoffs roll around. We'll be hauling you every game. So anyway, hey, Will, what do you do now? Tell me what you do for Fox now on the radio part.
So I also do stuff for Fox Sports Knoxville. I do work on football and basketball, UT related. For the tournament last year when Tennessee was looking to make a deep run and then did not, I did opponent previews of everyone in the SEC and NCAA tournaments, did video previews, talked about how they matched up against Tennessee statistically. And I do the same for football, too, though obviously not many people are going to want to read a Tennessee-Georgia preview.
I understand. Hey, put his website back up one more time, Brett. And I've really, it's really interesting what you do, and everybody go to this website and look at it, and you can catch him in a couple different ways there, and get out and I mention your Twitter again.
Oh, my Twitter is at Gyrate Stats. It's those two words you see up top.
At Gyrate Stats. Get on there and look at it. It's been interesting stuff. Will, appreciate you coming down to tonight, and we heard about you. Guy we were doing a game with last Friday night in Rockwood told us about you, and I said me and Brad said we got to meet this guy. We got to talk to him because I need some help. I need some help picking games because I'm gonna get that website and I'll leave because I'm gonna check it out because I think it's interesting stuff. What I like is you're putting some emphasis on high school. I could care less about the college stuff. It's a high school stuff. I like you're doing college, but I like the high school stuff because that's what we're all about at Channel 12 is high school sport. Will you do anything other than football? Will you rotate over into basketball, or are you just going to do for high school, or are you just sticking to football right now?
I think I'll just stick to football for now. Honestly, if the demand is high enough, I'll try basketball. I'm not as well versed in high school basketball analytics, but I'd be willing to give it a shot.
Well, we appreciate you being on the show with us tonight. We're live from the Pizza Inn in Oak Ridge. Come on back to the locker room chat, and be sure and catch that website there if you want to get some up-to-date stats and how teams are going to perform. And there it is again. And, Will, we appreciate you coming down tonight. Give us your insight. It's been very interesting, and good luck with that, and keep on promoting the high school sports.
Absolutely.
We'll be right back just in a few minutes here to locker room chat.
For 30 years, Reno Sporting Goods has been a leader in supplying the highest quality equipment and apparel for sports teams throughout East Tennessee. Athletes, fans, and coaches alike rely on the knowledge and experience that only Reno's can provide. For the best in team sports, shop Reno Sporting Goods.
Live and Let Live Drugstore in downtown Rockwood is your gift destination. Shop the new plush selection for that special someone. We have Bath & Body Works popular fragrances and custom gift baskets too. Live and Let Live has a wide selection of gift and home decor for any occasion, from yard flags to selected jewelry plus much more. We have Big Orange giftware always available year-round. And don't forget to enjoy a soda fountain treat while you shop. Live and Let Live Drugstore, Gift Shop, and Soda Fountain in downtown Rockwood.
With so many places available to shop for a new car, people are often left wondering how to choose. Why not come to the place that's been providing excellent customer satisfaction for over 45 years, Earl Duff Subaru in Harriman. We are the only dealership in Tennessee to have won the Subaru Love Promise Award for 7 years in a row. Read our online reviews and you'll see that Earl Duff Subaru is the right choice for all your automotive needs.
Available in 7 or 8 passenger models. The all-new 2019 Ascent is available now at Earl Duff Subaru in Harriman.
your junk, cars, aluminum cans. We'll buy it on the spot and we'll pay you a lot. We treat you like family at RMG. Yeah, we treat you like family at RMG. We treat you like family.
Rome Metals is located just off of Highway 27 between Herman and Rockwood.
Smooth. Smooth cutting. And now even smoother riding. That's the Simplicity Lawn and Garden Tractors. Now with suspension. That's right. Simplicity is introducing suspension for residential lawn and garden tractors. The Suspension Comfort System.
SL Bowman & Sons, 524 North Front Street in Rockwood. Call 865-354-0600.
Mulch & More in Midtown is your landscaping headquarters. Mulch & More offers mulch, the best topsoil in the area. All types of gravel, sand, pea gravel, either loose or in bags, creek rock, river rock, field stone, mountain mist stone, railroad cross ties, straw bales, fence posts, farm gates, and much more. Mulch & More offers backhoe and dump truck service. And Mulch & More can also demolish a house or building on your property, and they'll haul it off for you. Give Gary a call today at 865-740-5229 for Mulch & More in Midtown.
Evans Mortuary has been serving the needs of families in and around Roane County since 1976. As established members of our hometown community, we understand the security of dealing with people you know you can trust. We build our reputation on this trust. The Evans family appreciates the confidence the community has expressed in us over the years and will constantly strive to earn that favor. Evans Mortuary, 805 North Gateway.
Reno Sporting Goods, your first choice for sports equipment. On the court, on the field, or in the stands, Reno's has the brand names you want. All the latest from Adidas, Under Armour, and more. From custom embroidery to screen printing, it's all about the game. For over 30 years, Reno Sporting Goods.
Welcome back to the Locker Room Chat. We're live from the Pizza Inn, Oak Ridge. It's not too late to get on down here. Coach Gaddis will be on here in about 10, 12 minutes, something like that. He is in the house. He didn't care too much for the experts' pick. He's still blaming it on me, but I didn't pick it. I would have picked 50-3, but he picked 45-3, and he's showing a picture, trying to get me muzzled up. That ain't a working, Coach. Got a GoFundMe page started, and I'm picking up support from Oak Ridge people getting on board with me, buying the bus, and we're going to state championship in it. I'm going to get to ride. All I want to do is carry the football out, the Go football. But anyway, let's do the top 10, Brad. And we're in the 6A, and I really don't know how Maryville stayed up there, but they have. So thought maybe Farragut might have moved on up, but no go. Maryville's only loss is to Alcoa. And I was at a school board meeting last night, and the Maryville and the Alcoa people exchanged some words there. And then another superintendent got up and said the best thing his school done this year is not schedule Maryville or Alcoa, either one. So I thought that was really interesting. But you see it's not really changed much between Maryville and Oakland. And Blackman dropped down a few spots. They were number 2. Oakland has creeped back up, and Oakland's only loss is to Maryville. So they're all right there, and that probably will change a little bit more as some of them play each other, especially some of the Murfreesboro teams will play some of them there. They'll start playing, and that'll all change out. And then in Class 5A, Henry County, a team that Coach Gaddis does know a little bit about. He coached them for a little while. They're on top this week, even though Mr. Cox from 5 Star Preps thinks that Oak Ridge is still the best team in 5A. I don't know that I don't agree with him. We'll see in the coming weeks. We're still pointing towards a big showdown at the last game of the year between Fulton and Oak Ridge, probably for the region championship. South Doyle's hanging in there. And locally, that's the only 3 teams we've got in 5A. We don't. There's not a lot of teams in 5A. That's Daniel Boone's a little bit of a surprise to me, maybe being in there. Let's go to 4. And you just heard Will talk about Greenville, Anderson County, and Elizabethton. He more or less said tonight, folks, and it wasn't me. So don't be giving me the death threats. He's the one that said Greenville probably will repeat, and he even said Greenville is the best team in the state. And he gave us the reasons why he thought Anderson County would have trouble with them. And Those are his stats. They're not mine. I didn't pick them. That's okay. I didn't pick them. I was trying to just see right quick. Stone's right there. Moved up one. Come from 10 to 9. Other than that, the top three's been I think the top three's been like that for a while, hadn't they? They've stayed like that, and they probably will until Elizabethton and Greenville play, because AC will roll undefeated in the region they're in. So we'll move to 3A. And 3A is Alcoa. Austin East has dropped. They were about 7th or 8th, and they've dropped down to 10. They lose last week. I didn't know they lost. Johnson County, another team from Upper East Tennessee, that's they're at number 7. I think that's a little bit of surprise. And you know, everybody's been talking about York. I think York beat Oneida last week. Is that not? They beat Oneida and they beat Cofield. So that's 2 really good football teams. And a lot of people were saying early on about York from the first couple of games that York's a real deal football team and expect some noise out of them. And we're seeing that right now. They've creeped into the top 10 at number 9 in the Class 3A poll. In 2A, if you look, Meigs County is still on top. Look for that to probably stay the same throughout the year. That's a team that gets put out last year in the playoffs by Rockwood, and that's a team that thought they would probably be in Cookeville, and they're still fighting to get there, and they're off to a really good start. They've already beat Rockwood once this year, 46-6. So I'm sure they'd love to get them again too. A team that will cover Friday night in Oneida. Oneida does lose last week to York, and we'll have Oneida Friday night at Rockwood. That's our game of the week. So we'll get to see Oneida this Friday night in Rockwood. Then Greenback, South Pitt, a team that nobody really wants to play neither. Cofield and Cofield Midway. I didn't see that earlier. 8-8. I guess we tie for 8th place there. I think Midway's a surprise team. We've talked about them the last couple Friday nights. And Oliver Springs is 1 point out there waiting on getting in, so they'll be in. But I really think the surprise football team they'll replace somebody there. The surprise team for me in the area besides Midway, I think, has to go out to Union County, to what Coach Kerr has done up at Union County, turning that football program around a little bit, having a 4-2 start. We talked to his son Friday night. He called in. Josh called and talked to us on the show. We appreciate Josh calling. If they win this Friday night, we'll try to talk to Coach Kerr again. I really wish we could get Larry, but we'll take Josh. But the Kerrs have done an excellent job up there at Union County, a team that hadn't won very many ball games the last couple of years, probably not any, I don't think. They took a program really from out of the graveyard and put some life in it, and that's just that's what it's all about. So it's a good Coach Kerr and that staff up there is doing a good job, and pleased with that. So come on down to the Pizza Inn in Oak Ridge and join Coach Gaddis for the Coaches Show. It'll be coming up here momentarily. We'll see you Friday night. We're live in Rockwood Friday night. How much time we got left, Brad? About 3 minutes? Okay. We're live Friday night from Rockwood with Rockwood and Oneida. Then following the football game Friday night, you can catch myself and Jonathan Cox on the 5-Star Prep. We talk a little bit of football with everybody. We'll get a few coaches to call in, and then we'll talk some late-night college football. I don't think it's going to be much to talk about this week, but we'll be interested to see what people had to say about Tennessee's loss this past week to Florida, a team that everybody thought Tennessee could win. And you didn't show that to your mom, did you? No, don't do that. No, you don't need to do that. Coach, I tell you what, she loved it. She probably did. She probably did. You have brainwashed your mother against me now. Coach, that's just not fair, okay? That is not fair. I don't care what you say. The expert picked you to win 45-3. I'm going to pick you to win 50-3. Join us Friday night in Rockwood, 7 o'clock pregame, Rockwood and Oneida. We'll be right back here next week on the Locker Room Chat. Come on down to Pizza Inn. Coach Gaddis will be up here in a minute. See you.
For 30 years, Reno Sporting Goods has been a leader in supplying the highest quality equipment and apparel for sports teams throughout East Tennessee. Athletes, fans, and coaches alike rely on the knowledge and experience that only Reno's can provide. For the best in team sports, shop Reno Sporting Goods.
Live and Let Live Drugstore in downtown Rockwood is your gift destination. Shop the new plush selection for that special someone. We have Bath & Body Works popular fragrances and custom gift baskets too. Live and Let Live has a wide selection of gift and home decor for any occasion, from yard flags to selected jewelry plus much more. We have Big Orange giftware always available year-round. And don't forget to enjoy a soda fountain treat while you shop. Live and Let Live Drugstore, Gift Shop, and Soda Fountain in downtown Rockwood.
We treat you like family at RMG. Bring your junk, cars, aluminum cans. We'll buy it on the spot and we'll pay you a lot. We treat you like family at RMG. Yeah, we treat you like family at RMG. We treat you like family.
Rome Metals is located just off of Highway 27 between Harriman and Rockwood.
Really? Again? Hey, if I had automotive style suspension like the new Simplicity, plus a free floating mower deck for the best cut, I'd be all that too.
Well...
And if I had the expertise and advice of his Simplicity dealer, maybe he'd look forward to hanging out with me.
You don't have a Simplicity dealership.
Good point. Huh.
Yeah. SL Bowman & Sons, 524 North Front Street in Rockwood.
Mulch & More in Midtown is your landscaping headquarters. Mulch & More offers mulch, the best topsoil in the area. All types of gravel, sand, pea gravel, either loose or in bags, creek rock, river rock, field stone, mountain mist stone, railroad cross ties, straw bales, fence posts, farm gates, and much more. Mulch & More offers backhoe and dump truck service. And Mulch & More can also demolish a house or building on your property, and they'll haul it off for you. Give Gary a call today at 865-740-5229 for Mulch & More in Midtown.
Evans Mortuary has been serving the needs of families in and around Roane County since 1976. As established members of our hometown community, we understand the security of dealing with people you know you can trust. We built our reputation on this trust. The Evans family appreciates the confidence the community has expressed in us over the years and will constantly strive to earn that favor. Evans Mortuary, 805 North Gateway.
Reno Sporting Goods, your first choice for sports equipment. On the court, on the field, or in the stands, Reno's has the brand names you want. All the latest from Adidas, Under Armour, and more. From custom embroidery to screen printing, it's all about the game. For over 30 years, Reno Sporting Goods.
We're always moving. Scratch that. We're always moving forward. But forward can sometimes look a little backwards. Or like circles. Or like nothing at all. But we never stop. We never stop because life never stops. It's hard to stop a train. Everything we do is in search of more go. If it can withstand 0 degrees, can it go -20? If it can run through 5 inches of water per hour, can it go to 6? We go. So it goes. So you can go. It's hard to stop a train.
Train. Extreme conditions testing. It's hard to stop a train. Really hard. Train, the most reliable heating and cooling. Train, extreme conditions testing. It's hard to